Hello. Hi, Misty. Wow, my makeup looks very orange here. I'm sorry. The lighting in my bathroom must have been a little different. It looks orange. Hi, everybody. I'm just waiting for everybody to jump on. I probably should have got on earlier, but I was running around here like a chicken with my head cut off. I just heard from Melanie. She was wanting to know if I used my desktop, is what she called it. Hey, Amy. I've been here, but TikTok been hiding me. That seems to be their latest thing. And they've taken away, I forget what they called it. The advanced rewards or whatever. Hey, real deal. I'm just waiting for Melanie to jump on, and then I'll invite her and Corey to join the live. So tell me what questions you guys have for tonight. What do you want us to talk about? I know what I want to talk about. But I want to know what you all want to talk about. My comment section lately has been interesting. Hey, Carol Elizabeth. Look, I have my butter here. I have worn the words right off the butter stick. And it is now my elbow rest when I'm live so that I have something to lean on. Oh, thank you. I've been letting it grow out and I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it. So there it is. Well, hey, I love you too. Yeah, I think Big Guy just got home, so you guys are going to see him. I hear him outside. His dinner's over here, so he's going to be like, you're live? How am I supposed to eat? I'm like, you'll be fine. Has anybody seen... yes, please, go ahead and share the live. I tagged it today. Hey. I tagged it today as soon as Melanie and I confirm what time. But I don't know how much it got shared around because, again, only like 200 people have seen that I posted it. Because TikTok, are we going to see a surprise guest? Well, I know that Melanie and Corey are going to be here. Will we see anyone else surprise? I don't know. I know the last time I did that live and Mary jumped on, it was so funny because people's reactions was crazy. People got very excited. Yeah, I definitely hear Big Guy out there. I don't know how to join. You don't have to do anything, Melanie. I got you, girl. Now, I just sent you an invitation. Accept the invitation and you should pop up here on the screen. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Any minute now. Did you get it, Melanie? Did you get the invite? Hey, Kelly June. I've been live before. We are live on our channel, so I just canceled that. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, here. Let me try it again. No, that's not what I want. Here. There we go. No, there. Now, did you get an invite? I tried, but it said that I had to cancel the old one. You can't see it? Plus guest. I don't want to cancel my invitation. Not now. Okay, I'll try to cancel this one and invite you again. How about that? Since you can't seem to... There, I'll cancel that one. Now I'll send it again. There. Invitation sent. Invite. Where's she at? There they are. Maybe.
There we are.
Newbies.
We're such newbies.
That's okay.
Now you probably have to put our mics on.
I hear Corey. Can I see Corey? There he is. Hey. How are you guys doing? How was vacation? I almost said Florida, but it was California, right?
Oh my gosh, we are so tired. So toast. It was a very fun trip, but I don't remember the last time we did 5 days in Disney. It was insane.
Yeah. And Disney is one of those vacations that when you come back, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, we have been like resting our feet and doctoring our feet for the last like 2 days now, because it has been crazy trying to keep up with those little ones, and they just keep going and going and going. They don't even quit. So I'm going to try to get you right here so we can both get in here.
What were the ages of the kids you had along?
We have two. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to hook you up. I know I'm almost done here. I'm just going to put it on a camera thing so that we're not all over the place.
It's fine.
Jesus, I can't get that done. There we go. We had 2-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Oh, yeah,
And then-
that's a lot.
Of course, all of our own children.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was super fun. Okay, that's not going to stay.
Well, happy birthday, Corey.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it was an amazing birthday.
Well, yeah, I would. Yeah, here's big guy. My husband's just getting home.
How do we
Hello, I'm live. We're talking Sister Wives, and you're doing.
What's that?
He works construction, so
Oh, well, we've heard about those construction workers.
we have heard about those construction workers, haven't we? Speaking of our bridge, right into our topic tonight.
Right? Okay. How do I get... Go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
trying to know what you think about what is going on right now in the whole Sister Wives community. I know that's broad, but tell me your thoughts.
God, I think it's a shit show. We literally just finished watching the episode like 20 minutes ago. Because we haven't had a chance here. Scoot over, love. Act like you like me and sit by me. And so, yeah, we just finished watching it and did our little review on it. I just think they're such a shit show right now. I was gonna just DM Mary and tell her we were going live. Go ahead.
Well, I feel like they're starting to tell the truth. And so Robin's basically saying the narrative is changing. I'm hearing it first through Suki now, because the narrative that they thought they were speaking about of this lovely family and everything is now changing. Some of the truth is coming out of what was going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And Mary and Cody aren't too pleased with the narrative changing, that they were an amazing family. So they were at one point, but polygamy is hard. It's a hard life to live. And more than not, they fall apart like this. Later on in life, especially when kids are grown up and starting to leave and it's just them together, families start to fall apart.
Because who really wants to spend their retirement days with some hag that you've been fighting with your whole life?
So, yeah.
I find it interesting that, ever since I kind of fell into the Sister Wives community, and the fans tend to pick a wife and then they become very like she's right and defend her at all cost. And I've spoken on here about it, how my order of likability has moved throughout the years, many times. But I kind of feel like at this point, what we're actually seeing is that they're no longer covering for each other.
Right.
Where before they did. And so they're now speaking their truth when they kind of were keeping some secrets before for each other. I got a lot of flack this week with, personally, I think Janelle has not looked great this season. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, I struggle with that one too, just because I feel like anything that they can do this season to take any of the heat off of Cody and Robin is where they're going with it.
All of them, or
Well, mostly Cody and Robin. Anything that they can do. So it's like, let's start these little whisperings here and there, Because even Mary said, I've never, like, let's throw Janelle under the bus. Let's throw Robin under the bus. Or, I mean, Jen under the bus. Like, let's just throw all of these different people under the bus. And so I don't know. I really don't know enough because I don't know Janelle. Janelle's the one I didn't grow up with. So I don't know her.
I can kind of see, somebody made a comment in my comment section this week, and I thought it resonated very much with kind of how I feel. They said, I think they're all speaking their truth, and it's just convoluted. So at the time that like, people were saying Janelle lied about what Jen said. And Mary messaged me this week and was like, Jen never said that.
Right.
And I believe her. I mean, why does she have to lie about that? And Jen has always been very blunt with what she says. But I could also see, when you go back and look at the episodes, when that would have been said would have been when they were living in Vegas. And it would have been, the time frame would have been, Janelle would have still been in charge of the family money. So if she had overheard Jen make a snide little comment like, Mary should take her money and just roll, meaning that at that time, Mary was making money through LuLaRoe, and Jen was just like, Mary should just vacate. If Janelle would have panicked hearing that because she was in charge of the family money, thinking that what Jen meant was Mary could potentially really hit the family hard and take, half the finances or whatever.
Well, and would Janelle be so wrong in worrying about that? I mean, if we really look at all of the financial resources that Janelle's put into this family, would she be so wrong to worry about that? I don't think she would.
Right.
But,
and I could see how that scenario could play out where they're all telling the truth. Janelle.
Oh, absolutely.
Jen doesn't remember, I could see that happening. And I think that's happened a lot. And we're starting to see things that were never spoken about before being spoken about now. And then people are going, who lied? And it's like, well, everybody's feeling a different side of the elephant.
Yep.
And describing the elephant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with this culture, is that there's so many different perceptions of what happened, so many different views of reality, I guess, if you will, that it's so hard to know who's right and who's, and they're probably all a little bit right and all a little bit wrong, to be honest.
Right. So, that's how I see it too.
Yep. Because I watched that in my own family. I watched that in my own, with my own other mothers, and some of the stupid stuff that they say, the stupid shit. And I was like, that is not how that happened from a child's perspective, So, and then also listening to it from my dad's perspective, my dad confided in me a lot growing up, and he would tell me, well, this wife said this, or this wife said that, or this, and then as a small child, I didn't always realize that some of that was in confidence. And so I would say something to my mom and she'd be like, what? So I'm sure there's a lot of that happening.
I'm sure. Just to clear something up, right before I came on live, somebody messaged me and said, now I know this isn't true, but I want you to clarify it. For those of you who don't know, Melanie's father is the current prophet. He's the head of the AUB currently, correct? Did I describe that right? Someone came and messaged me and said, well, I heard that Cody actually got the, what's it called?
Release.
Yes, the release from Mary, not Mary getting it from him. And I'm like, that's not even a thing, is it?
No. Yeah, the men can get releases. Cody's so full of shit every time he says that on TV. It really does happen. It just doesn't happen very often. Normally, if they go in there and ask for a release, they're going to get severely chastised. And this is 100% my opinion. I was going to talk to Mary about this when I talked to her and to ask her, her thoughts on this, because I can't ask my dad anymore now that I've been pretty much disowned. But I wanted to ask, I think that Cody went to the priesthood and asked about what his options were, if he could divorce Mary or not. And they said no. So what do you say?
Well, they could have said yes too. But with that yes, that he could have a release, comes the option that he doesn't get any more wives. And he could have failed as a leader toward getting his kingdom in heaven. And so it was more of his ego going, well, I did nothing wrong. And if I get a release from her, no longer take care of her, then it's going to be a ding on his priesthood. He can no longer get any other.
His priesthood.
Yeah, his wives.
Little priesthood.
He won't be able to add more wives to his kingdom because he wasn't able to take care of the wives properly that he had. And so, yes, he probably asked, hey, could I get a release where I'm free and clear of this? And they said, no. If you do get a release, if you go through the process of getting the release, you won't be able to get any more wives. And so he's like, no.
Which would then lead to Cody saying, well, they told me no. So that men can't get, that would make sense.
Yeah. They told me
no. Do you think
no.
he did that just out of curiosity? You would guess, and again, this is all we're talking, pretend here. Do you think he would have done that probably years ago prior, when Mary was catfished?
Right when the catfishing thing happened. But no, Mary 100% got the release. I talked to my dad about. I didn't know, but I was not talking online at the time, and I didn't know how crazy Sisterwives fans were. And so I mentioned that on one of my videos. I was just like, oh yeah, I talked to my dad. Like, I literally talked to my dad within weeks after he gave Mary that release. And he's like, oh yeah, unfortunately, I warned Cody this was going to happen. He was going to lose his family. This would destroy his family. And sure enough, I just ended up giving Mary a release a couple weeks ago. And I was like, really? Dang it. That's too bad that it happened. Because, of course, we didn't know about the catfishing because we don't watch the show, or we didn't. And so we were unaware as to why. But yeah, so no, Mary 100% got the release, not Cody.
Yeah. I feel really bad for Mary right now with the whole catfishing thing being stirred back up again. And I'm not sure kind of why it's other than because people are coming out with the truth. If people are hoping to get kind of to the bottom of the catfishing, I feel bad for Mary because I feel like of the three wives, she's the only one that has really, in my opinion, has put the work in, got the therapy, stepped back, and really changed and grown as a person and shown that in who she is. Where I feel like the other three, Christine has moved on, but yeah. Janelle, I worry about Janelle. The more this season goes on, I kind of feel like I don't think she'd go back to Cody. I don't think she'd do that. But could she still be wooed by him? I look back on Maddie's response when Janelle said, I have to go meet with Cody. And immediately Maddie said, you're not trying to go back into polygamy and get back together with him, are you? So clearly that was on Maddie's mind.
Right.
Which if Maddie knows her mom, that says a lot to me that was her initial response was, wait a minute, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, do you think Janelle would ever go back if Cody?
Not to Cody.
She
couldn't go back to Cody. But she could marry another worthy priesthood holder within the group, the AUB or independent or somebody like that, because she went through the proper way to get a release. I think with Christine, she just left and then got remarried. And so that basically voided her ability to stay within the group, and she didn't go through the proper channel. She just left, and she left the AUB, not only leaving Cody, but she left the religion. And so the other kids are looking at that like, whew, she left everything, including the religion. She's damned to hell like the rest of us. And yet when these other ones are going through the proper way to do it, it's so that they can be remarried to a worthy priesthood holder within the group. And
okay, wait, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing, Corey. So you're saying, so you don't think Janelle has truly left the religion?
I think she believes in
Parts
most
of
of
it.
it still. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if anything, here's what Janelle will do. She'll never go back into living active polygamy, but I could see her getting sealed to another man. And I always call those ticket wives, where a woman in the belief system, a woman can't get herself into heaven, because women are weak or something. I don't know.
We're just
We don't
inept.
hold the
Yeah.
I know, right? We don't know anything. And so, so if I could see, if anything, she would just go get herself sealed to someone else who could get her into heaven.
And
That's
never-
it. She would never actively live the lifestyle again,
Yeah.
especially not being in North Carolina. There's just not an active group out there.
Yeah.
And so she would just be that way. But, I saw one comment I just wanted to address really quick, because a lot of people are like, but Janelle wasn't raised in the religion, but she was raised Mormon, and the Mormon teachings are parallel.
Very similar.
That's why it's called fundamentalism, is because it's a fundamental belief of the Mormon religion. So it's taught. So Janelle did go to girls' classes growing up. She did go to these, maybe she wasn't taught how to be a sister wife, but she was taught how to be an obedient wife. A submissive wife, whatever. So
in traditional Mormonism, can a woman not get into heaven without a husband?
nope.
Or without a priesthood leader.
Really?
Yeah, not without a priesthood leader.
Not being sealed to a priesthood leader.
Yeah.
So if you never get married, you're damned to hell.
Well, no. So when the second coming of Christ comes back, we're in the millennial reign of Christ after, whatever, all this stuff happens, then you will have all that time period to repent of your sins or whatever and find yourself somebody worthy that can get you into heaven. You'll have that time period. That's a grace period per se.
For women.
Yeah.
Yeah. They could be sealed to a worthy priesthood holder.
Yeah.
Is the route that they teach.
And my dad
Wow.
literally married a woman, and he never spoke to her again after the marriage. He never had anything to do with her. He didn't even go to her funeral when she died. She just basically just wanted to be sealed to him just so she could get into heaven. So that's what I can see Janelle doing if she does anything else, is just that part of it. She just won't actively live.
My brain is just blown right now. I had no idea that was a traditional Mormon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the original teachings of Joseph Smith.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody just said they wanted clarification. Somebody said, I'm LDS, and of course we get into heaven without a man. Not everyone gets married.
Now,
No.
the teachings
Okay.
of the Mormon
No.
Church might be different now, but that's not
No.
how it's ever been taught in my whole
Okay.
life.
Someone says, Melanie and Corey, I'd like your opinion on if Cody and Robin still feel it takes a plural marriage to get into heaven.
Well, Cody actually made a statement on one of the talk shows that he did, one of the morning talk shows, and he was like, because they said, would you ever live polygamy again? And he's like, no, I fulfilled that law. So in their mind, because they've already lived it, and they lived it with 3 or more wives, they've already fulfilled the covenant that they needed to make to God in order to, get into heaven, so they don't feel like they need to do it again.
Cody and Robin are real good at making up their own rules.
They really are.
They really are. I wonder if they consulted God on that, or we just gonna we're just going with what works.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is just crazy.
What were you going to say?
Nothing. It's just, she's probably correct. I mean, the Mormons' teachings say you can still get into heaven and not be married. What they're not saying is that there's 3 degrees of glory in heaven.
That's true. Okay, yeah. If you
So-
want to get in the highest degree next to God, be a creator, create your own planets, do all that other fun stuff, then you have to do all of these things.
The Mormon religion has Adapted, yeah. There was teachings of the Adam God doctrine. They no longer believe that. There was all these, they have,
Grace is like, what the hell are you talking about?
there's a lot of belief systems that the fundamentalists still believe. They feel like they believe all of the teachings in its, and the Mormon church they've done away with the polygamy part of it for many different reasons.
Right.
And so, yes, you can still get into heaven by not living polygamy or even being married. But once you get into heaven, you will be given a choice. Do you want to try out this polygamy thing since you didn't have the chance to do it on earth? Yes, I do. I want to get into this worthy man's. Great. Then I can move up the degrees of heaven. If not, if you go, hey, no, I don't want to be a polygamist even in the afterlife, then you can live in the lowest degree.
Then you can wash people's floors and clean their toilets.
Yeah, the lowest degree of heaven, which is still heaven. So
right. And this is not taught in the Bible. This is the Book of Mormon. This is not.
That's not in the Bible I was brought up.
No, I see a lot of your comments. People are freaking out. This is Mormonism. This is the Book of Mormon. This is fun. And it's two totally different. And they believe in the Book of Mormon above the Bible.
Well, equal to the Bible as long as the Bible is translated correctly.
Yeah, there you go.
Is their teachings. So
no wonder Cody loves us. There's caveats all over the place.
Well, yeah, they all, and that's what I say. We say this all the time, that they make up the rules as they go along, and it just depends on who you are. It depends on your last name. It depends on if you're related. Like, I mean, here's Corey. He's kicked out of the polygamous group, right? If you've ever heard of the term lost boys.
Yes.
Anything like that. So Corey
was a lost man.
Corey would be considered one of those. They're like, get out. You're way too sexy to be in here. You're going to steal all of our women. And so,
no.
And so then, that was the prophet, 2 prophets before my dad. And then my dad becomes a prophet and he's like, no, you totally you can be back in here if you want to be. So now, Corey's got the hookup.
Okay.
And I see a lot of people arguing it's not Mormonism.
Great. Yeah.
Great. Well, we won't argue it out. It's fundamental Mormonism.
Yeah, it's not the current Mormon.
It's not worth the fight.
No.
Yeah. Do you think that Robin and Cody will stay together?
I did for the longest time. And Corey was like, absolutely not. She's going to screw that man sideways, upside down, and she's going to take that him for all he's worth. And then Corey's mom and my mom were here for Thanksgiving and we were all talking about it. And I'm like, what do you guys think? And both of them, I mean, they've both been polygamous wives for over 50 years. And they're both like, absolutely not. No, it's the second she can screw this man, it's over for him.
Yeah.
Well, she's saying too many things that Cody had promised her a polygamous family, a family in heaven, all of these things. That's no longer what he can deliver. He's saying, I can. We've already lived that. We're still going to make it into heaven. Don't worry about it. But she's not. She still has, I feel like, probably the strongest belief system of the AUB doctrine and teaching still.
That was actually my next question. I think of all the wives, it feels like Cody or Robin is the one that has held on to those core belief systems. And I'm like you. I think this season, it was very telling when she made some comments like, I argued with him. I did this and I did this. And I thought he's more infatuated with her right now. All you hear from him is how much he loves her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's he going to do?
From her.
Yeah, he's going to strike out 4 times. Like, the guy's ego has got to be taking a huge hit.
This is the interesting part. Robin believes the most in the faith, but she is preparing herself legally. She's been through a divorce before. Cody was able to divorce Mary legally and still get half of everything she owned. If it was just paperwork, then why not give it all to her type thing? The minute Robin lawyered up against all 3 of them, that was to protect her assets, what she has earned in it. She is preparing big time that if the divorce comes, she just lawyered up to save as much equity, as much income from the other 2 wives, and probably this is again behind the scenes. Hey, if you don't want Mary or Janelle or Christine coming after your
Put it
stuff,
in my name.
put
I'll
it in
take
my
care of it.
name. And so she's funneling stuff over there. The minute it came on there that she lawyered up, I'm like, oh yeah, she's absolutely legally preparing to divorce him.
That's what I
in
said
a couple of
too.
years.
I was like, no. When she doesn't want, she keeps saying, I want everybody to be fair and I want everybody to have the same stuff. But then we have a lawyer coming in. Like, she wants to make sure that what is left, she gets 50% of.
Yeah, majority.
She is making sure. And she would be one that I think would get the divorce, take everything, take the kids, and then go get sealed to somebody else.
Yep.
In a heartbeat.
Bad.
Yeah.
They joke about it on our channel that she's going to do that and go get sealed to my dad. And I'm like, oh my
He's a
God,
ticket
please
to
don't.
heaven.
Because you did hear my dad married my best friend recently.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
Melanie, I am so sorry.
yeah, that was awkward. It's been really uncomfortable. We've been best friends since I was 16, and we haven't always been together very much over the last few years because
Clearly, she's still in the faith and you're not.
well, right. And so she was married to Corey's brother, and then he left the faith,
Okay.
and 2 of his wives stayed in the faith, and 1 left with him. And so the wives were redistributed to amongst other men. So my dad comes over to my house one night and he's like, just wanted to let you know that I'm going to get remarried again. And Corey and I are like, oh, okay, great, whatever. Like, it doesn't affect us, right? And then he tells us her name and I'm like, wait, my friend? But how he started it out with is she's older than my oldest child. And I was like, oh shit, this is not going to go well. And so then he tells us
he's trying to make it okay in his mind.
because he's 20 years older than her. So
How many wives does he have?
he's had 8 wives, but 2 of them have died. 2 of them left him, so he has 4 active wives right now.
And he supports them all?
No, in fact, my mom is suing him right now in court over that because she's been with him for 50 something years and she wants to leave him and he thinks she should walk out the door with absolutely nothing. So yeah, he only guaranteed her a place to live as long as my disabled brother was alive. And my disabled brother died 2 years ago.
Yes.
And they literally went in and changed the locks on my mom's house. And so now she's filed a lawsuit in order to get what she should not have to have. Like, that's why this season has been watching the Coyote Pass drama has been like infuriating for us, but then also healing for us too, because we're currently in the middle of it ourselves. So
I did not realize that. I thought your mom was totally out. I did not realize she was still in the throes of this.
yeah, she is. And she's, it's been really hard to watch her go through that because my dad's just like, he could care less. I'm like, she's been married. She's his longest standing wife. She was married to him when she was, I think she married him when she was 19 and he was 20. So she was his second wife. The first wife left. She's been the longest standing wife. And now that her disabled son's gone, he's like, get out. So it's been really hard for her to go through. And of course, I've been out now for 26 years. I left in 2000. And so I've been gone for a while. So I've been able to try to walk her through some of it. But Cody Brown is not the exception to the rule. This is how
Wait a minute. Your dad is kicking your mom out?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have to get anyone's permission to do that?
Nope.
God's, but God gave him permission.
Yeah. Right?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
So the other men have to go to your dad to ask permission to get rid of their wife.
Yep.
And they don't usually grant it.
Nope. And so my mom, she hasn't gone and actually asked for a release because she knows she won't get one. He's the top cheese. Oh.
So then he can just say, I don't like her anymore. She need to go away.
Yep.
Because God told me that that's okay.
Yep. So my mom just barely
care of
went
yourself.
to Rex Allred's funeral, Christine's dad. My mom's just at the funeral, and some of the other leadership actually came up to my mom and said, "We fully support you in what you're doing. We don't understand why Dave's doing this to you."
Well, okay, so that was my next question. So does that have, because I would think that other men in the church would be like, hold up, does that have an impact on your dad and his reputation and how people view him as the prophet?
Right. It does. And these other men can say this to my mom only because they're not in the throes of it. When they become in the throes of it, they'll do the same thing, because this is just how these men are. I mean, my ex-husband did the same thing. So this is just, nothing belongs to women. Everything belongs to the men, including the women and children. And so how dare you? It's almost offensive to them if these women ask for anything. Then it's like, who do you think you are?
And it even goes further than that. It all belongs to the kingdom of God, which the AUB runs.
Yeah.
And so if a man is leaving, he's like, I'm done with this. I do not support the prophet. A lot of times they will leave with nothing also.
Yeah.
Unless they have got stuff legally in their names or things like that. But a lot of times it's a united order, and the AUB wants the men to sign over deeds, homes, things
called
like
consecrating.
that. Consecrating all they've got. And if they do that and then decide to leave, they get nothing.
They get nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
It's not just the women, it's not just the children, it's anybody who leaves the AUB disgruntled.
Yeah.
And if they've turned stuff over to the AUB, that's the kingdom of God. You don't withdraw from the kingdom of God. You only add to the kingdom of God.
Yeah. And Corey's dad's literally dumped in hundreds of thousands of dollars before he died. But when he died, the house hadn't been switched over yet. So Corey hurried and they fixed that. They got it all fixed so that the wives can still at least live in the home.
Yeah. So Slightly High Historian is on here in the comment
we've
section.
been chatting all day.
Yeah.
I love her.
And Dava said, that is the faith right there, that the women are owned and they don't get a say, what they want to do.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand how Robin can watch all of this unfold, see that, know that, and say, yep, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Because she's legally protecting herself. She's been through a divorce before. She knew how to protect herself. They're not part of the United Order, any of the United Orders, so they haven't donated their money in. And foolish if she does that, if she joins a United Order and does that, but I don't think she will. There are a lot of people within the AUB that haven't joined the United Order. They've been guilt tripped into it, but they haven't. They have their own assets, and they just pay a tithing to it.
So now, do you think that Cody still believes in the religion?
Oh, that's a hard one.
It depends.
It does when it benefits
suits him.
Yeah.
He believes in his authority.
Yes.
So his authority as a priesthood leader and the leader of his thing.
Yeah.
Does he believe in the leadership of the AUB? I don't think so. Does he believe in this was the community his dad grew up in, but they've changed leadership so many times. Does he support the current leadership? Is he going to give stuff over to him? Absolutely not. But does he believe in his priesthood and his authority? Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He strikes me very much as someone who, if Robin leaves, is going to really struggle in the real world, because he can't read a room at all.
No.
Oh, you in trouble, honey.
I know. I always think I even just watched my ex-husband, and, he's tried to go back to the AUB several times and they just kick him out. But I think Cody will really struggle. If anything, he'll go back into the AUB to try to hook up with a few other women and then possibly leave again. I don't know. That's the problem with these men, is they're such shit shows when they come out, because they've lived in a world of delusion their entire life, a world of self-grandeur, and they don't know what the real world has out there, and they don't understand that they're socially awkward at that point. So
Yeah. So Corey, somebody just posed this, and I hadn't thought of this. If Robin leaves him in the next couple years, which you and I agree is going to happen, more than likely, in our opinion, allegedly, people, would Janelle go back to him then?
ooh, that's a good question.
That's a very
I can
good
see
question.
that. I could see that.
Corey.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I don't. They wouldn't go back. Possibly they would come back together as a couple, but they wouldn't be sealed under the AUB's things again. I don't think she can get. Neither of them can get sealed now that it's been unsealed. Now that she's got a release, the AUB wouldn't reseal them together.
Oh, okay.
I'm so curious about
I'm
this.
wondering if
Okay,
they
we're going to
would.
look into
We'll
this.
look into it.
Yeah, let me ask your dad and see what he says. Like,
Oh, he
if
don't
that
talk to
were-
me anymore.
No, but I've got
Well-
family still in it. I've never heard of somebody having a release
I haven't either.
and then being
Resealed again.
resealed to somebody. That's like a no-no. If you if you had a covenant and then for some reason you came into that, broke that covenant and are now unsealed from that person, you can get earthly married again,
Mhm.
Okay.
but you cannot get sealed for time and all eternity again.
And that I can see. I can see Cody going, oh, Janelle's got a house. Robin took all my shit. I'm out nothing. I'll go live in Janelle's house for free and have wild, crazy sex with my six-pack abs with Janelle. That's
I
what I
don't-
can see happening.
To be honest with you, I don't think it would happen just because of the kids.
Yeah, I was
He
going
has
to say
done so
Janelle's
much
kids would
damage.
have a fit.
They would. And he's done so much damage, especially with Janelle's kids,
Yeah.
that I think they would be going, "What are you doing, Mom?" And she'd be like, "You're right. I'm not going to allow that to happen again."
I
She'd
would
sneak
hope
him in the
not.
basement.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of comments after the apology tour situation. And when they had dinner together, I can't tell you the vulgarity that was in my comments about what happened when they left that table.
Hey,
Okay.
it would be legal.
Yeah.
She hadn't gotten a release
We
yet.
said that too. I said that. I was like,
getting a nooner before he goes back.
he's
That
going to
would
go
be
hook up
lit.
with Janelle. Okay, but that's happened. It happened with my dad. My dad did the same thing. And my mom
Allegedly.
was furious, allegedly, yeah. But because he was legally divorced from his wife, but they were not spiritually divorced. And he went out and he hooked up with her and then came back to my mom.
That's
So
why
how
Mary.
do they justify that in their head?
The mental gymnastics are unreal. I don't know how they do it.
Because a spiritual marriage is stronger than the earthly. That's why Cody and Mary could get divorced legally and still be considered married. Because if in the real world, the other marriages are all affairs. So they have to believe that they're legitimate marriages to
Right.
make it into the kingdom of God. So
That would be the one question I've never asked Mary, because now that I've talked to Mary personally, I feel like I don't want to ask a question that's
offensive.
offensive. Yeah. But wait a minute. Wouldn't mind framing
Yeah.
a
Yes.
certificate that
I about
we can
died
see.
when I heard that comment. I was just saying at the beginning of this video, we just watched the episode. We only got done about 20 minutes before this video. And I was like, I paused it. What the hell did she just say? She framed that. That is the most common girl games. So when you were talking about psychological warfare, because that's really what this is between these women, it can turn into psychological warfare. Framing a marriage certificate like that is absolute insanity. And that is considered psychological warfare. That is the top of girl games that these women play. I don't even know where my marriage certificate is, and I have 2 of them to this guy. So I don't even know where those are.
And
I mean,
she
I'm
did
sure they're in our
that
filing
right
cabinet.
after she assured Mary that it meant nothing.
It's a paper shuffle. Don't worry about it.
Right. And then went right home and framed it and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Robin, talking about the girl games, I'm with you. Robin is the queen of the girl games.
Absolutely. And Mary,
Go ahead.
Mary framed hers too. Again, that's psychological warfare against these other women. It's putting themselves above and elevated above the other women. It's like, look, okay, so my dad, when he divorced his first wife, swore he would never marry anyone legally again, right? He didn't marry his other wife until 1999. He married another woman. So he got divorced in 77, 78, and did not get legally remarried to any of his wives again until 99. And so when he married her, he didn't tell any of the other wives. He just went and legally married her. My mom didn't find out for almost 6 months that he was legally married to this woman. And so this is a way that they elevate each other above. And so I love Mary. Mary's always been one of my favorites. I've always loved my relationship with Mary, but that is girl games. That is psychological warfare against other women.
So that was my question that I have never asked Mary because I don't want to be offensive. And I've asked her some pretty brutal questions,
Right.
Some of which, like I asked her about the NDA, knowing she wasn't going to answer it, but it was in the comment section blowing up. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this out there so you can say I can't answer this and we'll move on. And I told her, I was like, I hope I didn't offend you by that. And she was like, no. But why it was so important for her to go get the release?
I know, because I didn't ask for a release when I did. I tried to get a release for like almost 4 years, and I just couldn't, they wouldn't issue it. And finally, it was just like, I had so much damning evidence that my ex-husband, I wouldn't let him get a second wife. We courted for a while, 2 other girls, but I just couldn't do polygamy. And so, when there was so much evidence about him hiring prostitutes, so that's why I got divorced, they still wouldn't give me a release. So I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. It's because the prophet was so, like, he loved my ex-husband so much. My ex-husband was in his back pocket. He knew it. He could do whatever he wanted and he could get away with it. And that was fine. And so then I start dating Corey, and Corey doesn't know that I don't have a release at that point. I'm like, because I don't know how to get divorced. I'm not legally married. So I don't know how to get a release, and I don't know what to do at this point. So we start dating, and then he finds out I don't have a release, and he's like, oh, absolutely not. I can't date you. I know how this shit show works. And so Corey said we couldn't see each other until I got that release.
Because at that point, you both were still in the faith, right?
He wasn't. He was kicked out.
Okay, so Corey, if you were out of the faith, why did it matter to you that she didn't have a release?
Well, because within her she was the first one leaving the faith in her family. And so nobody within the family would accept me. Hell, they didn't accept me for the first couple of years anyhow, even after she got a release, as a legitimate husband, even though we were going to get legally married. And I feel like sometimes as we grow up in this faith, we're given milestones to reach. At 8 years old, you get baptized. At 12 years old, you get the priesthood. These milestones to reach. And sometimes we undo those milestones to show that we're releasing ourselves from the teachings we are taught our whole lives. Yeah. And so sometimes when somebody's like, no, I need to go get a release, just so that release is taking back the promise that I swore under oath in front of all these people, so that I can talk with all these other people, communicate with them, and feel right with myself, I guess is what I should say. But at that time, I was just like, yeah, as far as her whole family, my whole family that was still a part of the AUB, still considered her and her ex-husband married. And until there was a release, how could I go? We could have went and just got remarried and been fine with it. But at the time, I had never been through their ceremony. I didn't know what it was all about. I understood some of it. I'd learned about it, but I was like, go undo it. Go get a release from the prophet and see if that.
So did they eventually grant you a release?
They did. The day that Corey said that to me, we had planned to go out of town together, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing any of that. And so I called the prophet that day, and I was like, listen, I'm done. And I had to turn into a big, huge B word. And I don't like to, this is why I relate so much to Mary. I don't want to be that, but I will if I have to. And I had to that day. And he was like, okay, sweetheart, you and him come into my house and like in an hour or whatever. So we met that day. It was the prophet, my ex-husband, me, and my mom. And we went over there and he said his magic words. He sprinkled his finger fairy dust and it was over. That was it. But then it started a very long legal court battle. And so legal about 18-month court battle. And the only thing that I fought legally for was full custody of my children. I didn't want him to have an ounce of custody. And it took 18 months for that to happen. And so when I finally did get a legal binding document that said, because in Utah, we're common law married. So I was considered common law, so I could go after child support. And I mean, I didn't really get any assets. He got rid of them. He filtered them to other AUB members as fast as he could. So I couldn't have anything financially. And about 18 months later, finally got that legal divorce. And I got full custody of the kids, which is the only thing I fought for.
So now, I didn't realize this either. So if you are not, sorry, there's a hair cut in my eye.
I know, I have one too. I keep messing with my hair.
If you are common law married to someone, you have to get a legal divorce?
Well, I didn't have to. I just did for the purpose of sole custody of my kids.
Okay,
Because they
gotcha.
have children together.
Yeah, we had 3 children together, and my baby was,
So it was a custody battle.
yeah, my baby was only 15 months old when we were getting divorced.
Wow. That's a lot. So now, speaking of the mental gymnastics, how did that work with your husband and the prostitutes?
Right? That's what I said too, but he swore that he never touched them. He only looked at them. And so that's where Cody wouldn't have grounds to get divorced from Mary because there wasn't a physical relationship there. And so that's where he was justified in the fact that he didn't physically touch them. So there was no true adultery but here's the thing. This is going to be a touchy subject.
What's the definition of sex is what?
Right. And unfortunately, I don't want to offend anyone, but there's a lot of people that have come out gay and they don't consider it adultery if it's the man because it was with another man, not women.
Oh.
And so I don't know how they wrap their head around all these mental gymnastics either.
I mean, the loopholes are just crazy to me. Do they in general try to stay away from anything involving legalities?
Yeah, there's quite a few like lawyers who are independent polygamists that people just don't know they're polygamists, and they tend to represent a lot of people. So my ex-husband hired one of these as his attorney, and he didn't know what was happening in the situation, and he's an independent polygamist. He didn't belong to the AUB, but he ended up calling my dad and apologizing to my dad for taking my ex-husband on as a client, and then fired my ex-husband, and then called me afterwards and apologized to me for taking him on as a client. And so, yes, there are not a lot, but there are several attorneys. You just don't know that they're polygamists because they're so on the down low about it.
So now that's kind of how Robin and Cody and all of them were, right? They weren't officially part of the AUB, but they were living polygamy.
No, they were officially a part of the AUB until they moved down to Vegas, and then they kind of moved out of it. And then they moved themselves into more what is considered independent status, where they didn't really believe in a leadership or a head of the church, if that makes. And so even though Robin still does, some of the other people didn't.
So is there a lot of that in Utah?
Oh yeah, tons of them. Joe Darga would be considered an independent. Brady Williams at this point would be considered an independent. I'm actually going to work on getting Brady to come on our channel. He said he would. Last time we talked to him, he said, "Yeah, you tell me when, and I'll be there." So, and 2 of his wives were 2 of my very best friends growing up, and so I know them fairly well. So I'm going to try to get him to come on. We just haven't felt comfortable interviewing people because we feel like we're like so newbies ourselves, you know. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, and so I was curious. I used to work with Joe Darger. He employed me for about 10 years. And I used to ask some of his sisters, I'm like, well, how did you guys get divorced? Like, you guys didn't really, because we went through a temple. The AUB has a temple. And so we went through the temple, like we went through an official ceremony. And I was like, Kate, so you're leaving your husband. How are you doing that? And she's like, we just walked away. And then she went back to him. And I'm like, so how did you go back to him? And she's like, oh, him and all of my sister wives, we just knelt in a circle and recommitted to each other. I'm
So
like,
they, again, just make their own rules.
yeah, they make their own. Yeah, pretty much.
Huh.
So, oh yeah, Kyle. Oh, somebody says Kyle Henderson. So I actually grew up with Kyle and was fairly close to him and his wife. I don't know what the question was about Kyle. Sorry, I just saw that pop up. I was actually really close to Kyle and his wife, the one that has gone after him.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
Yes,
them. But,
apparently he's on here. He's on here.
oh, is he on here as a
Is that,
viewer?
yeah, so slightly high. Dava tagged someone. It's a user number, Kyle Henderson, and that user number answered and said, thank you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I grew up with him. His brother married one of my aunts. We're very close. And his wife that he had the falling out with, like the severe, I didn't know any of this until I started covering Sister Wives. I didn't know any of that was even
Okay.
happening.
Clarification, sorry to interrupt you. It's not Kyle. Dava was answering a question to that user, and the answer was Kyle.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so not Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, Corey doesn't know them. I know them fairly well. And her sisters have reached out to me quite a bit since we've started our channel too. So we've been chatting a little bit back and forth there too.
Is it hard for you when you talk about interviewing them, knowing them from your childhood and being best friends with some of the wives? Like, I know for me, and you know my background and my current, there's as Dava says, a culture. Like, there's a way to behave. And when you grow up in it, you know what the expectations are and how that goes. But not everyone does. When now that you have totally left, when you speak to them or interview them, is there a weird dynamic there because of that? Because you're out and they're in?
Sometimes there can be, yes. I really struggled because when I left, I mean, I have 350 cousins, and I was the first one to leave. No one had ever left. I didn't know how I was doing. I just had to figure it out. There was no way, and I hadn't graduated high school. I had 3 babies. I had no idea what to do, and I had zero support system. And some of the people who were the hardest critics of me are now people who have now left. And so sometimes I want to go, that's what you get. But then other times I don't want to, because I understand you just don't know what you don't know when you're brainwashed into something that you have been brainwashed into your entire life. And so I try to have grace for that. But then there's times where I'm just like, I just want to middle finger them all because it feels so, but then that's the unhealed part of me. And then I go find my Zen spot and then I'm okay. But it is hard when you leave and the judgments that come. The AUB is not as severe as FLDS, where it's like they isolate you completely. The AUB is not that way most of the time. But there has been some pretty rough seas. You know, I've gone back to some weddings and some funerals and some baby showers, and I've been only since I've publicly spoken out is where most of it has come from.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, and I often think with Mary Janelle and Christine, that's some of what we're seeing now too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that they were just choosing to live this lifestyle. This was their belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And to come out of that and then speak back on it, you know, people will say, well, that's what they get for, you know, they'll say that about Mary. You know, she was so mean to Janelle. This is what she gets. And I think, first of all, she was, 19
Yeah.
Yeah, and her and Cody were not married that long before Janelle came into the picture, right?
Yeah, I think they were married only like a year and a half.
Yeah, and I think I got married at 19, and that first 2 years of marriage is tough, and factor in that, and I did not know until this season that I was shocked by that revelation from Janelle too. In the book, it always made it sound like Cody and Mary prayed about it. They wanted to court this other woman, and then here was Janelle, and it made it sound like it was this three-way, like in the book when we were all still together. And now that it's all falling apart, Janelle's like, oh yeah, they never asked me to be in the family. I asked if I could join the family. And I'm like, that's kind of huge. That's kind of huge. If I was been married for a year and all of a sudden my sister-in-law showed up and was like, hey, I want to sleep with your husband.
Well, and I really liked Mary's brother. He was a sweetheart. He was always
that never gets spoken on. Why did Janelle and him break up? Do you know?
I don't know. I never saw Janelle until I never knew her or saw her until Cody just showed up at church one day with her in tow, and they had just gotten married. And I was like, wait, didn't she marry Adam? Like, I was so surprised by that because I'm more Adam's age than Mary's age. Mary's a little bit older than me. And so I was really surprised. And I actually saw Adam just a few months before he passed. And I mean, I was really surprised. He looked very happy. I said hi to him. I always really liked him. But
did he leave the faith after that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They left and they were in the LDS church, I believe. So yeah. And so people get that confused all the time. They're like, well, didn't Janelle have to get a release from him in order to marry Cody? Yes and no, because they were married in the LDS church. They weren't married in the AUB. Okay. So yeah. I did want to address this comment from Slightly High. She said, what about them getting physical? Let me go back to this.
Oh, I didn't see this.
She said, did you see where McKelty said Janelle and Mary got physical? You would be so surprised. I was stunned at how many wives get physical with each other. Like, it is not uncommon at all.
Really?
Oh yeah. In my family too, I know a lot of not in my dad's immediate family. I don't know if any of my dad's wives have ever gotten physical with each other. I wouldn't be surprised. But some of my aunts and uncles, yeah, these women are like, they lose their mind on each other, dragging each other down the stairs, throwing each other out of the it's like, what is it called? WWE? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It gets intense. So
wow. Yeah. And it bothered me when David brought up that polygamy encourages that competition between the women.
Oh, absolutely.
The men enjoy it. Yeah, the men totally enjoy it, right? And David threw that out there. And immediately Cody's like, no. But if you go back and watch that, he's grinning from ear to ear when he's saying it. He's like, no. Yeah. And I was like, dude, your tell is showing. It is showing big time.
Oh, they absolutely encourage it. What man doesn't want to watch two women brawling over him? Like, I mean, although I think you kind of would slightly like it.
Well, it definitely is going to stroke anybody's ego to know that there's three people, all of which who want me at their house tonight,
But some of the stories get crazy. Like, they're like straight out of there's one story, I'm just going to say it just because, I mean, my glass is almost gone now.
And to upsize your glass, girl.
I know. Corey's like, can we drink these through clear glasses? He brought Peter Pan. But yeah, the couple was in the middle of intimacy, and the other wife went in there and grabs the wife off of there and yanks her out of the house and throws her literally on the front lawn.
Wow, that really is Jerry Springer Live.
Yeah. Yeah. And that happens all the time. That's fairly common not now. I will have a bunch of polygamous wives because they always do. You're full of shit. That's not true. And they'll keyboard warrior the shit out of me, but it is true. And I've seen it.
It's happened on occasion.
Yeah. I wouldn't say all the time, but it's very much happened on occasion. Oh,
Wow. Okay, so now back where we started with this catfish deal. First of all, I have some confusion about this whole situation. When it happened on the show, I honestly didn't get real invested in it because I took it as Cody has abandoned Mary for years. So she found somebody else to talk to and they catfished her because she's famous and on TV. Woo woo. And I moved on. That was the end of it for me, right? Now that this is all coming up again and they're wanting all the truths out and all the things, do you know who Kendra is and how is she involved in this?
we don't know anything about the catfishing because we haven't watched 90% of Sister Wives. Yeah, we just started watching it for the first time. I think every single person we know watched the first season and then they're like, oh, they're not going to be truthful. We're not going to watch it. And so nobody ever watched it after that. So we stopped watching it. And then when we started our channel, when I started my channel a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, then people started asking us about Sister Wives. And so then we started watching it, but we really haven't watched it. I haven't watched any of the seasons on the catfishing. So we don't know anything about it.
So the real Dill, who is here on TikTok and is here in the comment section, managed to get a hold of an interview that Kendra did back in, I believe, 2016.
Oh, wow.
And she sounds very untrustworthy to me, but basically she was trying to catfish the catfisher because she realized the catfish was catfishing Mary. But it kind of sounds like she was playing everybody. I don't know. So the real Dill has posted yesterday or the day before all of this interview, so you can go watch it. She's being interviewed by a private investigator, and she's supposedly spilling her truth. But again, this was almost 10 years ago. Yeah, Slightly High said she seems very sketchy. That's a very good way to put it. Yes, she did.
She was friends with Robin, right?
So yeah, to me, she was Robin's friend somehow, but I don't understand how that connection got there either.
Then she's very sketchy.
Yes. So she was, but she knew the catfisher. So she was feeding information to Robin, but then Robin was feeding information from Mary to her. That was like, and that whole situation, I get so frustrated with because I fail to understand why people are kind of hard on Mary about it and why Mary, I get that she doesn't want to talk bad about people.
Right.
But I wish she would just own it, that it was an affair and that the reason it happened was because Cody had totally abandoned her at that point.
Right.
And just own that. Suki in the tell-all kind of brought it up and Mary still dodges it and is like, the catfishing, yes, that was my dark time. And I'm like, just own it. If that had been a man, you would have slept with him. Like, just own it. And because your husband was crap.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. I feel horrible for her that she was catfished because that shouldn't happen to anybody. And I don't quite understand the legalities of why nothing happened to the catfisher.
Right. That's what everything that we've heard, again, very little, we know very little. Robin somehow seems connected to this, which is why I think there's not a lot of legality to it, is because Robin was too intertwined with it. But again, we don't know because we haven't really dug that deep.
Yeah.
I know Punk Rock Polygamist knows a lot more about it. Somebody just made that comment too. And I was going to talk to him. We'll talk all the time because he didn't grow up in the AUB, but his wife did. And I grew up with her.
Yes.
And so we do chat back and forth a lot. He understands a lot more of the doctrine. Corey and him get along really well that way. And so I'm going to talk to him a little bit more about it because we really just don't know, to be honest. But
yeah.
from what we've heard and what we've seen, it looks pretty sketchy that Robin was pretty deep into that, which is why there's no legal recourse that's happened, if that makes sense.
Well, and a lot of people have alluded that she was actually behind it.
And honestly, I wouldn't, again, I know nothing. This is 100% just me making shit up. I would not doubt that at all.
And this is my surprise face if she is. So,
Corey has nothing nice to say about Robin or her family. Well,
her mom.
because Corey was best friends with Robin's brother growing up.
So you knew her mom well.
Oh, and so all of my detest is not necessarily against Robin at all. It's actually against her mother, Alice, because that's who I grew up with. And Robin.
Oh, I lost your audio.
Every single game.
Sorry,
that
we
Alice
got a
has.
phone call and I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sorry.
So-
Okay, go ahead.
No, everything that Robin does and has done to this family, Alice has perfected it in the previous family.
So Alice is just as manipulative as Robin is?
More. I would argue more. So again, we look at it, well, is Cody and Robin typical? No, they're actually better versions of a lot of the people that are in the AUB. They're more manipulative. They're
Wow.
more conniving. And so all of my detest is not necessarily towards Robin. It's just she's playing the part that Alice trained her to be, and she's perfect at it.
Cody is too dumb to know to be afraid of Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my, not funny, but one of my other mothers passed away recently, and I got all of her old photo albums. And there's this old picture of Robin and her mom and her dad and her second mom. This is before her mom married the Sullivan man. And so, oh yeah, Paul. I can't remember his name. Corey grew up with them, so he knows who they are. I didn't grow up with them. But yeah, it was crazy because we're like scanning through this photo album, right? And I'm like, shut up. That's Robin and her dad and her mom. And Robin's like 2 years old. Oh, she probably would have been 3 because her little sister Fawn was in the picture too. And Fawn was an infant. And so I'm like, what the hell? And so it's crazy how related everybody is. But my other mother was very close to Robin's mom and Robin's biological dad.
Someone just reported our live for bullying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just got a thing that it said that it can't be shared for 10 minutes because it was reported for bullying. I'm like,
Oh, that's
what'd
funny.
I say?
I don't know that we said anything wrong, but that's funny.
I don't know either. I just put, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, Robin's watching. It's Robin.
I tell you what, do you think they watch?
I never thought that they watched us because I'm like, who are we? We're nobody. Nobody cares about us. Like, we're just a nobody that grew up in the AUB. You know, you would not believe the amount of emails that we get about Robin and the stories that people tell us that are closer to her. We just don't ever bring them out on our channel. We don't ever talk about it on our channel because we didn't personally experience it, and I don't want to do hearsay, so we just don't really talk about it. But we get dozens of emails all the time from Preston's family, from Robin's own family, from friends that grew up with Robin up there. And so it's crazy the amount of people that want to tell the story about Robin, but they just don't always have a platform to do it, which is another reason why I started my channel, is because I wanted to give people a platform.
So
where
they
could
will
come.
email you about Robin.
Yeah. Yeah. And we just haven't really talked about it on our channel because, again, it wasn't our experience. I never knew who Robin was.
Oh,
till she came.
honey, spill it. You are sitting here. We're drinking wine. Let's hear it. So allegedly, what are they telling you that she's done?
Oh my gosh. People have nothing nice to say about her. What were you going to say?
No, just Preston's family appreciated us
Yeah.
talking positive about him on our social media because a lot of people have talked negative.
They feel like he's been
He's been
misrepresented so
misrepresented
severely.
by her and by even Cody. So
Well, they
And-
always talk like he abandoned her and these children.
No.
And I've often wondered how she did all that.
Yeah. No, I don't think. And so my little brother is one of Preston's best friends. And so I think eventually, I'm hoping eventually we'll get Preston on our show. I'm like, wouldn't that be awesome if that was our very first real interview that we did was with Preston? But
Well, did she get him to sign an NDA?
I don't know. I don't really know. But we could ask about that. I'm sure we could. We just don't ask. Here's where I always get a little bit like funny is now that I would ask questions before we had our channel. But now that we have our channel, I always feel like I don't want people to feel like we're taking advantage of them.
Right.
So I don't ask. In fact, I've been going back and forth with Mary lately, and she was like, yeah, I want to come on your channel. I've been talking to Jen about it. We've been saying it might. And so I just told her, I'm like, I haven't asked you because I don't want you to feel like I'm taking advantage of you.
Right.
And so it kind of adds that element of just, I never want people to feel like you're only being nice to me because you want something from me.
Right.
Because in polygamy, everything is transactional. And I don't want people to feel that way. And so I haven't asked a lot. But every time we go to Pinesdale, which is where Preston lives, because Corey lives there, Corey's mom lives there too. Corey grew up down the street from Preston.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're really good friends with Preston's older brothers. And so it's not like we don't know. And then my ex-husband grew up at the top of the hill. Corey grew up at the bottom of the hill, and Preston grew up in the middle. So, yeah. So we know them all. But I just don't ask because I don't want people to feel like they're getting used by us.
Robin
So,
is the queen of
do
NDA.
any of the things that you are written about have anything to do with Robin's relationship with her eldest son?
We don't know anything about that yet. We haven't asked though. But no, we don't know anything about that. I've heard rumors that he moved to Montana to live with Preston. I wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
I've heard those as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. But yeah, we could ask. People tell us all the time, ask us anything you want to know. And I just haven't because.
So if everything is transactional, do you feel like if you did ask that, they would expect something then?
Oh, not necessarily. I just don't want them to feel like they're getting used by us.
Okay.
For tea online, I guess is what that's why I haven't asked about it. I had one girl send me, and I love this girl. She's so amazing. She sent me literally like 6 pages on an email. All the things that Robin's done to her because she was Robin's age and she grew up with her. And so, yeah. But yeah, I see a lot of people asking about Preston's health. Yeah, apparently he's in full remission. He's doing really well.
Good.
That I did ask about, and he's doing really well. So
I'm sure Robin's thrilled.
Okay, so that's what I've always said. Watching this tell-all, I'm like, I would like to know, like the way Cody talks about David, I'm like, you're screaming foul and hypocrite towards, Christine and Mary and all this, but what if Preston treated you the way you treated David? How would Cody feel about that?
Right.
And I'm sure he would not like it very much at all.
He wouldn't tolerate it.
He wouldn't
because,
tolerate it.
Preston, like myself, yes, we were raised in the AUB, but we don't have the priesthood Cody has. We have not gone through the covenants that Cody has. So he has a higher priesthood than us. I don't have priesthood anymore. It was taken away. So.
Oh, so just being male doesn't give you priesthood?
No.
So what gives you priesthood?
I'm not trying to be like disrespectful, so please, anybody on here who's LDS, don't take this disrespectfully. But priesthood is kind of like, I refer to it kind of like a witchcraft power. Once it's been given to you, it can't really be taken away other than by God, is what a lot of people believe.
Okay.
And so it's almost like a warlock power. Like you're now a warlock. Now you have all this power to do all of these things. And some people believe
who bestows that upon you?
Well, that's the question. That's where the LDS Church, the FLDS, the AUB, that's where the whole divide comes in, is because some people believe they're the ones that have that power and other people believe they have that power.
Oh.
So
But
priesthood,
God isn't any part of that.
yeah, priesthood is
Okay.
how did they phrase it? Priesthood is the power to act in God's name.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to follow your priesthood lineage back to Joseph Smith. So this man gave me the priesthood. He got it from this man that went all the way back to Joseph
Like
Smith.
royalty.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you were given the priesthood by a priesthood holder, then you can, now you have the priesthood. You track your lineage back, and now you, as a worthy, if you're considered a worthy priesthood holder, can pass that priesthood on to the next worthy male, your sons or somebody, another male in your family.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Wow.
that's how it works. When you're excommunicated, you get that all taken away. So you no longer have priesthood powers. You no longer can speak, use the power of God for blessings, for healings, for all sorts of different things that they.
So when they excommunicate you, they truly think they've really done you in.
I gave you this sorry again. Sorry, people. I gave you this magical stuff. Now I'm taking it away. So,
And you're just
and I'm
Yeah.
like, I haven't changed from before I got it till when I had it till after I got it taken away. So,
in
so
all
the same
fairness,
person.
somebody made the comment on here, this conversation is very enlightening when you think about Cody in light of those kind of comments
Yeah.
Mhm.
and his behavior, even how he behaved on what was the show that he did?
The special forces.
Yes, the way his behavior was there, when you put it under the umbrella of this,
Mhm.
you can see kind of where he puts himself up on this pedestal above other men, above women, definitely.
Absolutely.
He's like, they're all beneath him because they don't understand, they don't have the priesthood, they don't have the power, and I do.
Yeah. And that's why when on our YouTube, we go into a lot more in depth on a lot of this kind of stuff. Hey, this is why we believe, again, it's just coming from our perception.
Yeah.
This is why we believe Cody is behaving this way, is because of this doctrine that we were taught.
Yeah.
And that's always up for debate on whether people believe it can be taken away or not. So this is where I talk to punk rock polygamists a lot. Like, we back and forth a lot because he's been in several different communities. And so it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Some men believe that once you've been given this special power, no one can take it away but God himself. Other people believe that if you have a higher ranking guy than you, they can take it away.
Yep.
But other people are just like, no, you can't. And so it's almost more important, the lineage of, so Joseph Smith believes he received it from God himself.
Okay.
And then he passes it down. So priesthood lineage is more important than blood lineage, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And so if they can trace their priesthood lineage back to Joseph Smith, then it came straight from God.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So then your priesthood would outrank someone else's priesthood who simply was coming through lineage.
Exactly. And this is why Cody's such a shit to David, is because he outranks him.
That makes so much sense. And so I was like, I actually kind of defended Cody with all this. At one point I said, I can understand why Cody's a little bit put out, because David's coming in and like, look, I know all about polygamy. And Cody's like, you have never walked in my shoes. Don't tell me, you haven't had 3 wives.
Right.
And I was like, okay, David, you might want to back up a little bit. But in light of that, I can see where David is like basically calling Cody out on it. You are the same man I am. You're no more high ranking than I am. So sit your butt down back in the seat, kind of.
Exactly. And that's why we talk about it. Like, give David some grace, because at first we didn't understand. Like, I'm watching, like, why is David getting so pissy here? But then we put it into our own situation.
Yeah.
And my ex-husband, the way my ex-husband would talk to Corey was very similar to the way Cody would talk to David.
Yeah.
And he talks down to him all the time. At one point, he even said to me when I was pregnant with Corey, our first child, my ex-husband said, "Don't worry, I'll take really good care of this child for you. You don't have to stay married to Corey. You can come back to me." And because he fully believes he outranks Corey.
Wow.
So yeah. So that's why Cody, but what's funny to me is we would say these on our videos, how would Cody relate if Preston talked to him like this? Well, he wouldn't, because Cody outranks Preston too.
So somebody just said, so does that mean that Christine's son would outrank Cody based on his priesthood lineage?
No,
because he would have gotten his priesthood from Cody.
So because Christine's a woman.
Yep. Christine doesn't mean shit. She's a woman. It would be Cody giving it to him.
So even though Christine is considered royalty in the AUB, she can't pass that down.
And she's not really considered royalty. Cody made that shit up. Like, that's not really true.
Okay. Of course he did.
I mean, yes, to some degree, yes. I mean, Cody's grandpa, Rulon Allred, converted my dad. He converted Corey's dad. Like, my dad, yes, there's a lot of, yes, to some degree she has royalty, but it doesn't really mean anything in that degree.
Okay.
Royalty is a different word. What they would basically say is because their family had been faithful for many generations, they were given generational blessings. And they believe in generational blessings.
Their loopholes were bigger.
Exactly. Thank you.
And so since their family had been within the teachings for many generations of faithful followers, then they were given more blessings than those who were first generation.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Somebody just said
blessings.
this whole thing sounds like some kind of weird sci-fi.
It is. That's why we make so much fun of it, sci-fi.
Oh yeah.
That's why we make so much fun of it on our channel.
Hey, I
my.
like a good sci-fi story. We lived one, and so that's why I appreciate Star Wars. And I thought The Hobbit was a lot better written than the Book of Mormon, but that's just my opinion of it. So yes, it is a sci-fi story.
Well, listen, I have to go, but I want to tell you two how much I appreciate. I know I interviewed you, probably a year and a half ago.
My very first interview I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Wonderful. And you have explained so much on your channel. I watch your stuff all the time, and I love how you're willing to still put that filter on and kind of show us what it looks like through that filter. Because I think it's true that when you apply that filter to them, things do look different.
Right.
And, we wouldn't see that if we didn't have people like you who were willing to show us that. And I really appreciate the fact that you watch the show and then you give us that insight. I think that's very powerful, and it's very educational, and it's very helpful. Anyway, so when you're ready to spill that tea though, girl.
Oh, I definitely want to talk to Mary first. And what?
I would rather just get Preston on and have him.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Is we're going to try to get Preston to come on and just talk about it himself.
Let him tell it.
Yeah, absolutely. You let him do that, and then you come back here and we will chat about it, because I'm going to need you to show me the filter of how to interpret it all.
Yeah, and it's funny, as I've been chatting with Mary, I'm like, I can just send you a link. We can just do a Zoom. And she's like, no, I want to come in and do your studio. I'm like, sweetheart, our studio is our son's old bedroom.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, but then we can sit around and chit chat for a while and catch up, because we haven't talked to each other. We haven't seen each other in a couple of years. Yeah. And so hopefully that'll be happening soon. We'll see.
I thought maybe she'd show up in the comments tonight, but
yeah, I don't know. I was gonna DM her, and then I didn't get a chance to before we got started. But if you post this to Facebook, or I mean not Facebook, but YouTube, then I'm sure she'll see it.
Yeah. Anyway, I really appreciate you chatting tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. I adore you, and I adore your channel, and I'm so grateful that you guys you're amazing. So thank you.
Well, you take care, and we will talk later. Good
Okay.
night, everybody.
Good night,
some
everyone.
sleep.
Thanks.
Bye.